congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much.
It's wonderful. I just wondered what drew you to the book initially, because forgive me if this is incorrect, but the book is quite short. So I wondered what the challenges were in kind of bringing that to the screen, given that it's a shorter book, but maybe some.
It's a good way of talking about it, because the short novellas are quite amazing for the screen in that sense, because what's really hard is when you have a very long book and you have to bring it down to 1.5 and 2 hours, and that's a little bit of a nightmare. So the novella was short enough that it was clear that it couldn't make a great film, and it was not sprawling, and it was still a big challenge, because you jump back and forth a lot between like the 1920s, the 1940s, the 1990s. Editing was quite intense, but it's like it's just very it's a challenge, and it's a very sweet one. So I guess that was part of the draw.
Yeah, probably easier than trying to adapt something like Dune, which is like this big.
Well, Dune is very different. Part of the issue when you adapt something like Dune is that you end up having so much exposition work. When it's a movie like Mothering Sunday, you sort of dive into the emotional world of the characters, and you just get to the bone directly, which I kind of really enjoy.
Yeah, and in terms of the way that the book is and the film is, in terms of you going backwards and forwards with, it's not a linear narrative. What does that give you as a filmmaker in terms of telling the story? Does it make it easier for you, or do you feel like it's better for the audience to kind of observe these characters in that way, as opposed to just telling it from beginning to end?
I think it's more demanding in a way, but it's more rewarding in another way, because you have to give enough of a straightforward storytelling so that you get to grow with the characters, and you get to understand the pains. We tried a lot of things to edit the film, and there were versions of it where it just felt so discombobulated that you didn't really know what to feel and when to feel it, because you would not link emotional scenes together. But we just figured out along the way that when you give enough so that you understand why somebody's crying, and you understand why they have gotten to that emotional maturity at that stage, then it just breaks your heart to see them suffer. So it was a very quiet and intense and long dance between the material, the editor, and I.
And I wanted to just ask you about Odessa and Josh. First and foremost, I would say about Odessa that I forgot that she was Australian, because her accent is flawless, like flawless British accent. It's so good. Sometimes it can be quite jarring accents. She nails it so good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, but there's obviously
definitely some of the not thanks to me.
They obviously share certain scenes together. So in terms of them as actors, what did they give you in terms of them as actors for you to be able to tell this story, and why were they perfect to help you bring this to life?
Well, I tend to want to work with actors who look as great as they are great, off screen. And when I met Odessa and Josh, I just felt a kinship. I just felt a connection with the two of them, like I hadn't known them for a while, and it just felt very natural. And I guess they sort of brought that to the table. We had this ease amongst ourselves in terms of communication, and the way we all approached the material was very similar. So that allowed for a lot of trust and a lot of conversations. Odessa, when she believes in something, she really discusses it. And I really love actresses like this, because you have an interlocutor, you have someone you can discuss things. You have a partner in creation, and not just someone who's, who wants or just likes only to receive stuff. And I think, the two of them are incredible violins, you know, and you let them play the tune and then you just help them just nudge things left and right. But if you're not stupid, you kind of realize that they're incredible, you know, by themselves, and you're just there to help it just, you know, be the best version of itself, basically.
Yeah.
And that happens through you know, like the work you do on set, but also the edit. Because sometimes, you know, like a rhythm can feel really good on set in real time.
Mm.
And then in the edit, it feels a bit slow because the perception of time is different. So that's where you sort of like, you know, help them find their way back to the initial direction. And that's quite fascinating.
Indeed. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. Pleasure talking to you, and wish you all the
Thank
best
you.
with the film.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that
yeah.
from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.